Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting with me, Carl the Cobra Froch. I'm a former super middleweight world boxing champion and an international boxing Hall of Famer, just in case you didn't know. This episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the biggest and best boxing channel in the business. Right, so Anthony Joshua back at Wembley Stadium. There's more fans there. Apparently there's 96,000. If you do the maths from 10 years ago when he boxed on my undercard at Wembley Stadium against George Groves, and you do the maths, you add up the 4% inflation over the last 10 years. 96 ain't as big as 80, but I'm not going to split hairs on that one. How invested am I in this fight? It's a fight I'm looking forward to. I want to see Anthony Joshua take on Daniel Dubois, or Dubois take on AJ, because Dubois can punch a bit, but AJ's a massive favourite, let's be honest. Anthony Joshua really is the guy that should come out here and do the business, but we'll get more into that in a minute. I mean, this fight could be, as I've said before, for a British title. It could be at the O2. It's great that it's at Wembley Stadium, and it's great that it's back in Britain. I'm looking forward to what's going to be a big-time boxing night for boxing. It's bringing boxing back. It's putting boxing back on the map. So I'm really happy about that. So let's have a look at who's had the better build-up to this fight. Who's had the best of 12 to 18 months? Right, Anthony Joshua, after losing to Usyk, they both lost to Usyk. Both of these guys' last loss was actually Oleksandr Usyk, the real world champion. But anyway, Anthony Joshua, first fight back against Franklin. That fight went the distance. He looked tentative. He looked like really he didn't want to be in there. A bit unsure of himself, which is kind of understandable. Big heavyweight getting done like he got done against Usyk. It's just like coming back, building himself back up, getting his thoughts. He changed his trainer as well. So you can sort of give him a bit of an allowance on that. Was it a sloppy performance? It was a nervous, tentative performance. That's what it was. But then in his very next fight, he's in with Robert Helenius. And that was a late replacement because Dillian Whyte pulled out. So again, that was quite a bit of a spanner in the works on the build-up to the fight. It's not nice when you get a late change of opponent. But he got the job done with Helenius. He got the stoppage. Again, Helenius, I don't think Helenius, I mean, Franklin certainly didn't come to win. Franklin turned up. Helenius, to me, looked like he was happy to be in there, happy to be getting paid. And as soon as AJ sort of stuck it on him, he was looking for the way out. But AJ got the knockout. You've got to give him credit for that. So he could only do what he did, but nobody was saying, bloody hell, AJ's back, he looks great, he looks aggressive, he's on his front foot, he's looking like the old AJ who wants to go in and do damage. And then, obviously, he fought Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin, it was credible. On the build-up, everyone was saying, look at what he did to Tyson Fury, give Tyson Fury a good fight, opened up a bad cut above Tyson Fury's right eye, and he looked like he can fight a little bit. Now, AJ went in there, and he boxed better. He was aggressive. He was more on his front foot than on his back foot. He was putting pressure on Otto Wallin. But I've got to be honest, Otto Wallin looked terrible. I don't want to take anything away from AJ, but Otto Wallin looked like he didn't want to be in there. He looked awful. No ambition. Didn't really try anything. I think he was just happy to get paid. He even pulled himself out. Was it round 4, 5? I don't think the fight went past 6 rounds, but he quit on his stool because AJ was getting closer to him. That's not AJ's fault. AJ did what he had to do, and he got the job done. But against, again, another opponent who was kind of just turning up for the old Bunsen burner. And then after the Wallin fight, who's he got? He's got Francis Ngannou, a guy that's not even a professional boxer, a guy that's a mixed martial arts, bit of a legend, let's be honest, one of the baddest men on the planet, that was calling him before the fight with AJ, well, before Fury. And I bring Fury in there because Fury struggled with Ngannou. Fury turned up to the unknown. He didn't have any boxing tapes of Ngannou to look at like Anthony Joshua did. And I don't think Tyson Fury took that fight seriously. He looked terrible. He got flattened. He got up to win in a very close fight that kind of could have gone either way. And Anthony Joshua was then able to say, right, hang on a minute. He's had a good fight, this Ngannou has, with Fury, and he's ended up getting beat. Now I've got something to look at. So he's had a look at Ngannou and he's thought, right, he's doing this wrong. He's carrying his left hand low. His feet are flat. He stands there. He don't really punch. And AJ got in there, and to be fair to AJ, he got in there and he was aggressive. He held his ground, held the centre of the ring, stood there behind that poised jab, and then just sent that ramrod right hand straight down the pipe and absolutely flattened Ngannou in what was a good-looking performance, albeit against a guy that should not have been in there with him. But he was still big and strong, Ngannou. He can still fight, but he's not a pugilist. He's not a boxer. So you can't take that away from AJ. All you can say is AJ boxed well. You can give him credit. It was aggressive. He got in there with self-belief and he put the shots together, even after seeing that he gave Tyson Fury quite a hard fight. So quite a few boxes ticked for Anthony Joshua on the build-up to this fight with Daniel Dubois. Right, so let's have a look at Daniel Dubois. He's also lost, as we've mentioned, to Oleksandr Usyk, but he gave Usyk a bit of a torrid time, didn't he? Hit him with that low blow on the waist. I mean, was it a low blow? I said on the night it was low. It was on the belt line. It wasn't straight in the crown jewels. It wasn't straight in the knackers, but it was low. It was on the belt line around that area, and that is an illegal blow. You can't keep hitting someone there all night and get away with it. So he hits him low. We've got to say that he didn't officially drop Usyk, but he did hit him around that area and hurt him and put him over. But problem is, he then quit, didn't he? He kind of got hit with a jab later on. I think it was round 9. And he got labelled a quitter because he previously quit to Joe Joyce. He did have a fractured eye socket, so he pulled himself out of that fight, quit, whatever you want to call it. But he had a fractured eye socket, so he saved himself for another day. But after that one with Joyce and after the fight with Usyk, he was kind of labelled a bit of a quitter. Has he got a big enough heart? Is his heart in the right? Has he got the heart for the fight game? He's 26, 27 years old. And people are questioning him, saying, look, he's big and strong, he can punch, but is he good enough to mix it at world level? And a lot of people thought not, me as well. But he came back, didn't he? And he fought Big Baby Miller, Gerald Miller, coming off a drugs ban. He came back after that ban that he served for failing the drugs test. He was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua. Big Baby Miller's got this mindset of, he's got a big mouth and he's confident. And he came in and he stuck it on. He stuck it on Daniel Dubois, put it on him, got on his face, leaned on him, and he was getting clipped with shots, Dubois, but he was using his jab well. He was meeting Big Baby Miller as he came. Big, heavy lump Miller, big, strong, powerful, coming forward, throwing big shots, and he met him. He met him with a 1-2. He was out jabbing him. He was putting 3, 4, 5 punch combinations together, body and head, and he looked like he was enjoying himself, Daniel Dubois. I was impressed with the win against Gerald Miller. Then after that win, he steps in with Hrgovic. Now, Hrgovic had a decent reputation, unbeaten. You know, he's up there, world ranked. I think he was IBF number 1 or 2. And people were saying this could be a step too far for Daniel Dubois. And what did he do? He went in there and he got clattered for 3 or 4 rounds, walked into loads of shots, got hit with everything and the kitchen sink, but managed to dig his heels in, bite down on his gum shield, stick with it and get the job done. He did well against Hrgovic. He took what he had to take, but then he turned it around, fought back, and he got the stoppage. I thought that was a great performance against Filip Hrgovic and a performance that sets him up really, really well and puts him up there for his own mind and his own spirit and his energy to get in there with someone like Anthony Joshua. He's on the crest of the wave. He's the guy that's coming into this fight, for me, more confident than Anthony Joshua. So based on the previous form that I've just pointed out for Daniel Dubois, this is actually Anthony Joshua's first proper test since losing to Usyk, and he's in against somebody who's come in with self-belief. You've only got to listen to him at the press conference and listen to his interviews and see him when they had that face-to-face. He said, listen, AJ, you can't intimidate me. And then AJ went all gangster and threatened to put a chair across his face. But we all saw that. Was that part of the build-up? Was that a bit of pantomime, or was it genuine? But Daniel Dubois, for me, didn't look phased, and he didn't look like he was going to be intimidated by AJ. So AJ's first test since losing to Usyk is what's going to make this fight interesting. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. Let's get into the fight. When Anthony Joshua steps into that ring at Wembley Stadium in front of 96,000 fans, apparently, then what's he going to be thinking? What's he going to be feeling? What's going to be going through his mind? Is there going to be any demons? He's been there before, been there, seen it, done it. I think he's been at the Principality, he's been at Tottenham, he might have been at Principality twice, he's done 2 at Wembley, he's probably had 5 or 6 stadium fights. So he's well used to this, and he's going to be feeling more comfortable, and he's going to be soaking up the occasion and trying to enjoy himself more than Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, he's been on the undercard. He's been on the undercard at Tottenham, I believe, but he's not headlined a big stadium fight like this. So he's going to be feeling that pressure and them nerves. And if the pressure and the nerves get to him, he could be in serious trouble. I think AJ needs to start behind his jab and have that right hand, that big, strong, solid pipe, right hand down the pipe, waiting for Dubois every time he steps in range. But he needs to get going early, AJ. He can't sit back like he has done in his last few fights. He's had the comfort of being able to sit back since losing to Usyk, because the opponents he's been in front of, as I mentioned earlier, they've not come with any ambition or any belief. Sometimes I feel like I just want to pick the paycheck up, which is no good. So AJ, I think, needs to get going from the off. So when Daniel Dubois is feeling a bit nervous and trying to soak in the occasion, thinking, bloody hell, this is my time to shine, if he gets it stuck on him too quick, and he's shell-shocked, then it's a disaster for him. It could be a disaster. So Daniel Dubois needs to really get behind his jab, use that sharp jab he's got, but also be aggressive with it. Every time AJ tries to come and take him on and try and be dominant and be forceful and be like the king of the ring in there, Dubois has to say, listen, you can't intimidate me like he did in that little build-up over the table when he got threatened to get a chair around his face. He needs to be confident behind his jab. But AJ, for me, needs to get in there, not make a big deal of the occasion, which I don't think he will because he's been there and seen it, and stick it on Dubois. Problem is, this will be the first time he's got to stick it on somebody that actually wants to win, that's going to come and try and win. I mean, he can call himself an IBF champion, I believe, but Daniel Dubois has been elevated to IBF, as ridiculous as it is. They've took the IBF title off Usyk, which I've been over before. I'm not going to go over that anymore, but he is the IBF world champion. So Anthony Joshua needs to really put Dubois in his box from the off and say, listen, this is my home. This is what I'm used to. This is what I've done many times before. And guess what? I'm going to stick it on you and put shots together early doors and not give you a chance to get into it. But can AJ do that? Based on his previous performances against the 4 fights he's had since being back, since a loss to Usyk, he's not showed me anything where I believe he's going to get in there, be confident and go on his front foot and try and stick it on Dubois, because he's not stuck it on any of his previous opponents. His opponents have been like half-hearted, not really wanted to be in there, and then he's grown in confidence, AJ, as the rounds have gone, and he's got the job done against the limited opposition. This is the first time he's going to be in front of somebody who actually really wants to win and wants to go home with his hands held high. Now, this could be a problem for AJ if he doesn't get going soon. Daniel Dubois just needs to try and relax, forget about the occasion, or remember the occasion and not relax. But what he needs to do, he needs to throw shots. He needs to get going early. He needs a fast start, Daniel Dubois. Put it on AJ as early as he can. Get behind that jab. Don't be reckless. Don't be careless. But get behind that jab and put the right hand on him. Get off to the side. Get on his chest. Push him back. Lean on him. He's almost as big as him. He's probably an inch shorter than him. He's around about the same weight. So this is quite an evenly matched physical match. So basically, both of these guys have got to go for it from the off. Daniel Dubois has not got to let Anthony Joshua get into any kind of rhythm, not let him get his confidence. And AJ really don't want to be letting Dubois get any confidence or any rhythm. But it's going to be a harder job for AJ based on the previous form, the previous opponents. He's not shown us. I know against Ngannou he went in there and he threw that 1-2 down the pipe. But there was absolutely nothing coming back at all from Ngannou. So AJ is in a position now where he's got to go for it. But he's in against somebody who actually fancies it, who believes in himself, who's got that IBF world title, albeit paper. But this could be his chance now, Dubois, to really show that he belongs there. And if Daniel Dubois gets in there and sticks it on AJ, and AJ gets PTSD, like Simon Jordan mentioned on TalkSport, AJ's not been smacked upside the head since the Ruiz fight, since getting dropped 3 or 4 times before quitting on his feet. Nobody's hit him upside the head like that and hurt him and wobbled him because nobody's been good enough to get close to him. But Dubois has got one thing on his mind. Use them heavy hands, use that punching power and smack AJ as early and as often as possible. So how do I think the fight's going to go? What's my prediction? The bit you've all been waiting for. Listen, the smart money is on Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's got all the experience at this level, at world level. And with that experience and that wealth of knowledge and being in these sticky situations, nothing's going to be really new to him. But he's not been on good form. He's not been on the best form of late. So he's now going to have to go in there and be asked to do something that he's not done for 18 months at least. You know, and if he gets clipped on the head by Daniel Dubois, all bets are off. So if you're gonna pick Anthony Joshua to win, which that's what the smart money's on. People are going to be saying, listen, AJ's the guy to do it. Everyone you talk to, they're all saying AJ's the guy to win. And really, the odds are Anthony Joshua is the favourite. But the caveat to that is, if Daniel Dubois hits him and hurts him, anything can happen. So I think all the pressure is on Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua going into this fight, even though he's been there, seen it and done it, and he's had these stadium fights 5-6 times, this is a massive pressure fight for him, because if he loses to a 26-year-old Daniel Dubois, then, listen, I'm not saying he won't fight again because there's big money in Saudi Arabia. There's always going to be options. But this is going to be difficult to come back from. If Anthony Joshua gets beat, it could be game over for him. But Daniel Dubois can definitely come again and learn from his experience. But Dubois has to start connecting with that right hand on the side of Anthony Joshua's head, whichever side you want. AJ don't like it. His legs do a funny dance. So the sooner Dubois can start landing that right hand as early as possible, the better it is for him. So my boxing brain, my boxing knowledge tells me Anthony Joshua is going to win this fight, and he'll probably win inside the distance. But I think all I would say is I won't be at all surprised if Daniel Dubois does catch him. He'll get the stoppage and he wins by knockout Dubois. I just wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, how did he pull that off? Because that is a possibility. But my prediction is for AJ to win this fight, late stoppage or points. Well, that's the main event done. I've already said there's a strong undercard. So let's have a look at who's on the undercard and I'll give you my thoughts. First up, Josh Warrington is fighting Anthony Kakachi. Kakachi is the guy that knocked out Joe Cordina in his last fight. It's another world title. Well, it was a world title fight, but now that's been dropped for whatever reason, politics in boxing. So it's no longer for a world title. And it's a move up in weight, so it's a really tough one for Josh Warrington. So this is a big step up for Josh Warrington. I feel it's probably a step too far. He's not boxed since losing to Lee Wood last October, I think it was, so nearly a year ago. And this is a step up in weight division. And I think he's lost 5 of his last 6 fights if he loses this one. So the writing could be on the wall for Josh Warrington. He's been a great serviceman to this sport, though. He's been great for the sport and he's had a fantastic career. But I just think this is a step too far. Also, we've got Hamza Shiraz. He's fighting Tyler Deeney. I think that's, you know what, I rate Hamza Shiraz very highly. And I just think this is going to be a routine win for Shiraz. And I tip him to get the job done in style. Right, we've got Josh Kelly. His opponent pulled out, Liam Smith pulled out. He's injured or he's got a bit of a virus, which is a shame because Liam Smith will give Josh Kelly a good fight. He's got all that experience, and Josh Kelly obviously is a good fighter. He's tricky, he's got fast hands, he can punch a little bit. But he's fighting Ishmael Davis. It's an intriguing fight, and I would say Josh Kelly gets the job done, but you just never know at this level, do you? Right, Joshua Buatsi is fighting Willie Hutchinson. It's another interesting fight. Buatsi has been a prospect for too long, and he needs big fights. He does need big fights, and this is a tough test, but he should get the job done. We know Joshua Buatsi can fight. We've seen him in there against good fighters of domestic sort of level, but he needs that step up. It's time for Joshua Buatsi now to show that he's interested and he's serious about becoming a world champion. And opening the show is Mark Chamberlain against Josh Padley. I see Mark Chamberlain doing the job. It might be a close fight, but I reckon Mark Chamberlain's going to do the job. This is going to be a great show. It's a brilliant undercard. And then we've got the main event, Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois. So I'm sure you've all seen in all the news, Oleksandr Usyk's been arrested in the motherland, in Poland. I don't know why he's getting arrested in Poland. And the explanation was that it's a misunderstanding. Why do you arrest the undisputed heavyweight champion in a misunderstanding? I don't know how that's possible. So it's a developing story. I'm sure there'll be more information come out. I'm sure he's not done anything wrong. He'll probably be on his way to the UK. I don't know why he'd go through Poland, but he's on his way to the UK for the big fight of the weekend because he's obviously going to want to sit and watch that fight that he's got a vested interest in, because Anthony Joshua may be, mind you saying that, he's took care of AJ twice on it, let's be honest. Does AJ deserve another bite at the Usyk cherry? Probably not. But he's a big name, isn't he, AJ? He's a big star. He's liked. We're seeing that with the big turnout at Wembley Stadium. So that's another fight that could happen. But it's, like I said, it's a developing story. We don't know what's happening with Usyk, but he's been arrested in Poland. I think he's been freed. But we'll just have to wait to see what details come up for that one. So that's it. We're done. That's my preview for the big fight Saturday night. AJ Dubois, Wembley Stadium, 79,000 fans now. There's about 96,000 fans turning up. Should be a great evening. Great for British boxing. Really, really looking forward to it. Don't forget, I'm going to be doing a live stream, a Froch along, watch along, whatever you want to call it. The Cobra will be watching the fight. You can watch me watch the fight. I'll give my amazing commentary and my thoughts, and you'll see my emotions whilst watching the fight. It's going to be a big one. I'm going to be tuning in. I might tune in before the main event for the chief support, one of the undercard fights, but I'll definitely be on air for the main event, AJ Dubois at Wembley Stadium. Looking forward to it. So don't forget, it's essential that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, you'll miss out. You won't be able to watch me watch the fight and listen to my amazing comms, and you won't be able to have a conversation with me. You know what I'm like? I'm open. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Say it as it is here on Froch on Fighting. So come and join me. Come and get your questions in, and we'll have a bit of fun while we watch AJ and Dubois fight for that paper IBF world title.